Hello and welcome to World Have Your Say. I'm Ros Atkins. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Well, for the second year in a row, the Nobel Peace Prize has provoked a passionate reaction from many of you. Last year, you'll remember, it was Barack Obama. Well, today, the intention is on the imprisoned Chinese dissident Liu Xiaobo. Of course, whether he deserves the award is the central question, though you're also discussing if the Chinese authorities are right to say that the Nobel Committee has no place praising what they call a convicted criminal. Also, do you think there's a risk that the award is becoming politicised? Maybe you think that's just how it should be. And I can also see online that quite a few of you are simply asking, who is this man? He is, after all, known by a small minority of people in China, let alone around the world. We'll get answers to that as well. If you want to take part, here's how to. You can get in touch on the blog. The address is worldhaveyoursay.com. Here's the email, worldhaveyoursay@bbc.com. If you'd rather get in touch with your phone, you can text us on country code 447786 2060 80 or phone us on country code 44 2070 83 72 72. We're also on Twitter and Facebook too. You can get all the details through worldhaveyoursay.com. Now, let's first of all address a question hundreds of you are sending into the BBC. You're saying, I've never heard of this man. Let's speak to the BBC's China editor, Shirong Chen. Shirong, give us an introduction to those people who are watching and haven't heard of the winner.
Well, Liu Xiaobo came to fame in China as a literary critic, but it was his involvement in a Tiananmen Square protest that propelled him to prominence. He is known in China as one of the 4 on the square to persuade other people to leave before the military crackdown. And later, of course, he was imprisoned, sent to re-education through labor camps, and now he's serving a 11-year sentence for his drafting of Charter 08, calling for political reform inside China.
Thank you very much, Shirong Chen. By the way, if you're watching and have questions for Shirong, you can call us up live. The number again, country code 44 2070 83 72 72. I can see that Philip in the US on Facebook says, unlike last year, the winner this year is absolutely correct. Well, let's pull up another message from Peter in Zambia. He's got in touch through worldhaveyoursay.com/Facebook, and he writes, a man leads an insurrection against his country, China, and the West awards him a prize as a hero. Did the Nobel Committee consult the Chinese people too? That's the question he asks on Facebook. Let's bring in Andrew Leung, a China specialist based in the UK. Andrew, do you think the majority of Chinese people you know would support this award?
Well, first of all, I'm no longer based in the UK. I've moved to Hong Kong permanently, but I continue to operate as an international China specialist. Now, coming back to the question whether China was consulted, obviously China was not consulted, but on the other hand, China did raise objections to the nomination even before it was announced. In fact, a very senior Chinese official was sent to Norway and tried to put forth China's concern about the possible nomination before that it was decided.
But Andrew, what about Andrew, let's stick to the point though raised by Peter in Zambia, who's saying, do you think the majority of Chinese would welcome this award? What would your answer to Peter be?
Well, I wouldn't say that a majority would welcome this award because otherwise there would be a widespread revolution in China long before. But don't forget that China has been, the Communist Party has been in power for for all these years. And then if you look at opinion surveys conducted by world-class, highly respected independent opinion survey companies like PEW based in Washington, D.C., looking at how the Chinese people around the world, in fact, regard how well the government has been doing, how well the government has been received. In fact, the opinions inside China has been changing for the better as regards the satisfaction index towards the government.
Okay, well, that's an interesting point. Andrew, let me just jump in there because we've got a couple of guests waiting to come in as well. But Charles is a Chinese who lives in the UK who's emailed us to say, what contribution has this man made toward lasting peace in the world? Absolutely none, says Charles. So let's go from the UK and Andrew in Hong Kong to Jean-Philippe Béjart, who joins us live from Paris. He's a friend of Liu Xiaobo, the winner. Thank you very much for joining us. Do you think he deserves this award?
Well, of course, he sure deserves this award because Liu Xiaobo has always been a very courageous man who has been to jail for the defense of his ideas. The other thing is, I heard that someone said that he had led an insurrection against his country, which is absolutely not true. Liu Xiaobo has always insisted on non-violent criticism of the government. He also has always recognized the progress that had been made in China, especially so far as the space for society is concerned. Liu Xiaobo has decided to live in truth. He refuses the lies and he tells the truth. For example,
but he is convicted of subverting state power, isn't he? A point that's being made not just by the Chinese authorities, but many Chinese emailing the BBC.
Well, no, actually, I don't know what is the independence of the people who have emailed the BBC. He has been sentenced for incitement to subversion of the state. And the 6 articles and the Charter 08 that constitute the basis of this verdict are plainly questions of freedom of expression, which is guaranteed by Article 35 of the Chinese constitutions. There is absolutely no hint of subversions in the articles which have been incriminated by the jury.
And I think the point you make, Jean, let's bring in Shirong Chen here, our China editor. The point you make about what Chinese people think is a difficult thing for us to address, isn't it, Shirong Chen? Because the WHYS production team today has spoken to a number of people in China who were happy to speak to us off the record, but wouldn't come in and come onto the television. They were concerned about expressing their real views.
That's right. Even though there is a bigger freedom for the Chinese to express themselves on the internet, when it comes to speaking on camera to the international broadcaster like the BBC, they are still a bit nervous. That shows that the freedom of expression is not guaranteed inside China. Of course, people can argue the living standard has been improved with the development of the Chinese economy, and people do enjoy some sort of freedom in some areas, but so far as the universal human rights, freedom of expression, freedom of forming a party and so on and so forth, that's still a taboo.
Well, we're going to hear from some people on the streets of Beijing in a moment, as well as pulling up another of your emails. But first of all, let's take a telephone call from Xu, who's joining us in Hamburg, in Germany, originally from Shanghai. Xu, and what's your reaction to Liu winning this award?
To be honest, I feel very ridiculous when I hear the news, because Liu Xiaobo won the Nobel Prize, but actually, according to what he did, at first he has not really a big achievement. Okay, now I'm in Germany, and in German, people are very looking forward that their former Chancellor Helmut Kohl will win this, because he led to the reunification of Germany. And Liu Xiaobo, in fact, in China, almost no one knows him. That's the truth. And in another aspect, he is now a prisoner, and he is now in jail. And the Nobel Prize Committee gives the Nobel Peace Prize to him. That actually damaged the image of Nobel Prize Committee.
So you actually agree with the authorities who say this has damaged the reputation of the Nobel Peace Prize because it's not appropriate for someone who's in prison to receive this award?